I'm going to share the screen so that y'all can see my computer. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a chance with just the whole desktop. That way I can kind of maneuver around on a few things. The basic problem that we'll probably run into is going to be just, if you have a question, I think there's a, you can either write it in the chats or you can just ask me directly by unmuting yourself, which is cool. Let's see here. Okay. Does everybody see? Well, you don't have to answer this, but let's take a look at our let's take a look at a few things here. What I've decided to do, I'm not going to have the meeting I do every week where I'm going to be available for people to be here for live lecture or for live chat or whatever. I'm not going to do it every day, every week at Wednesday at this time. I'm going to kind of move it around so more people have an opportunity to be here. However, I do want to say that, I will be available for sure every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay. Decided to, make that a time where, if you kind of get it into your head, then maybe you'll know that's a good time to send emails or whatever. Generally, my turnaround on emails are within 2 hours of getting them if you send them between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. But, sometimes I might miss them. I've got a lot of students this semester. I've got a lot of different, email accounts because I work for different schools. So sometimes I might accidentally miss something. But usually you'll get a reminder from me pretty quickly, an answer from me pretty quickly as soon as I see it. So generally, like I say, within 2 hours of you sending an email from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, I'll usually respond. If it comes in after 5 p.m. or it comes in on the weekend, I'll probably get back to you the next day. I am doing my best to, make myself always available to y'all. Okay. I consider myself in this job basically a walking encyclopedia for your benefit. I'll do lectures from time to time, like once a week. I'll do, lectures. I'll put up PowerPoints, those kind of things. But if you've got questions about the readings or you're struggling with something that doesn't seem to make sense, always feel free to drop me an email or even to request a moment where we could talk face to face over Zoom. Okay. My life right now is writing my dissertation and teaching. And I do all that stuff from home. The only thing I do is I leave the house, once or twice a day to go for a walk. So I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Philosophizing is a way of life. And that's what I want to try to share with y'all. There's going to be a lot of information that we'll go over the semester. But the main point of a course like this is to get us to a place where you utilize philosophizing as a means to make your life better. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now, like I said, I'll always make myself available from 3 to 6 on Wednesdays from now on, but that's not going to be when I do these live meetings. All right. And also, just let me say one last time, I know I'm kind of overdoing this maybe, but if you email me from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., I am generally going to get back in touch with you within 2 hours. All right. So this is the usual kind of stuff here, the syllabus, the different kinds of things that we have to always be aware of, and, sort of a community idea for us and everything. The text we're using. By now, you know you're supposed to get, let me move this over a little bit here since y'all are looking at my screen. As you know, by now, you're supposed to get access to this text, which is a Cengage MindTap course. And most of y'all have done that, but if you haven't done it, you need to do it as quickly as possible. Generally, what I do the first week of my courses is just let you get used to these online interfaces in case you haven't used them before. If you've used them before, that just gives you a little more time to kind of, you know, rev up for the semester. If you haven't used them before, it gives you a chance to kind of go in and take a look at them, right? And the one that we're using, let me pop back over here real quick and open up MindTap. Okay, once MindTap is open here, I'm going to go into one of the courses. I'm teaching 2 courses at TCC. They're exactly the same courses, all right? So I'm going to go into this one just because. And really what you'll see, what you'll see here is that there are these activities, there are due dates. When you open it up, you can see what the due dates are, right? Some of the things that are due dates are actually just readings or just, you know, materials to help you understand what you're up to and what you're doing and everything, right? And how to use the source. But always look for these due dates. This is where all your due dates are at, okay? Now, if we go back over to our course, and this is good for either 20671 or 20670, okay? The courses are exactly the same. If we go over here to lessons and we open up lessons, these lessons that you see here under first assignment mandatory, all of these lessons are the lessons that actually get grades. Okay, so there's a lot more for you to read. Okay, there's a lot more for you to read and for you to look at on MindTap, but you know, in order for you to make sure you don't miss any activities that have grades, they're all here. Okay. So what you want to do is you kind of want to look over what you're doing for the week, right? And this first week is just this. It's just getting used to the philosophy toolbook, getting used to Questia, getting used to Aptly assignments and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's all we're doing this week. Starting next week, right, that's when we start getting more into actual what is philosophy and stuff like that. Okay, and remember, your due dates are always on here. Generally what I'm doing is I'm asking you to look over the learning objectives and the activator video by the Monday of a week, and then I'm splitting up the other assignments and readings. You want to get through these readings by September 6th. And then over the course of the next week, there'll be a couple of assignments on Blackboard itself. There'll be group discussion and there'll be essays. So every chapter is basically 2 weeks long. The first week, Monday and Tuesday, is getting through the learning objectives and getting through the activator video. By the end of the first week of every chapter, you want to have done the readings and done some of the things that are due, like the Aptly assignment and the lecture video. And then the second week of class, the second week of a chapter, Monday and Tuesday will be for group discussions. There'll be a quiz due on Friday and an essay due on Sunday. So that's basically the way that it's going to work for the entire semester. Trishan, does that make sense to you? You can just give me the thumbs up if you want. You have that thinking posture going on. Okay, that's what I want to make sure. So let me see. Does anybody have any other questions? You can any questions about this? You can unmute, or you can just type it into the chat, whichever you want to do.
I have a problem that happened. with one of the Cengage things.
Okay.
So I don't know if that probably is my grade because I couldn't see in the beginning the due dates. So I went ahead and started on the nature of philosophy.
Okay.
And for the first thing, the what are ideas in thought, where we were talking about Locke
Yeah.
and Descartes. Um, one of the questions, no matter how much I refreshed, it wouldn't show up for me, and it was the fill in the
Huh.
blank question.
Did you send me
So
an email about this?
no, because I just did it last night, and I didn't want to
Okay.
send it
I know
like
that's cool. Somebody else had a problem, and I think they might have had a problem with that one, but I'm not sure.
yeah.
If you, thank you for bringing this up, Lucy. If y'all ever have some kind of glitchy problem like that, then go ahead and submit and save and submit what you've been working on. Then send me an email and let me know what problem happened. And with things like that, what I can do is I can reset it and let you just take it over. Uh,
Okay, yeah, that'd be
save
great. Do you want me to email you after the
Yeah, email me now if
Okay,
you want, or email me after sometime today and just remind me, and then I'll pop in later today and I'll take a look at it.
sure, I'll go ahead and
Uh,
do that. Thank you. I
yeah,
was
no problem. So, I'm very laid back about this stuff. I realize that it looks like a lot of stuff. I had to do all of this in 5 weeks this summer, and that was that was, boy, let me tell you what that was. Anyway, but I'm very laid back about this. To me, philosophizing is the willingness to be uncertain. I think I have that somewhere here. Usually put it in my
Hello.
syllabus. Yeah, there it is. Philosophy is the willingness to be uncertain and the will to ask questions. Basically, what happens in almost all of your classes is you're just given all this information and all this, all these facts and figures and techniques and methods, and then you're basically asked to always learn these things, memorize these things, be able to regurgitate these things. To me, that's not education. That's instruction. Instruction in the sense of structuring into you the facts, the data, the techniques that we want you to be able to do. But education, educar, which comes from the Latin, the Latin word educare means to lead out. And so what I want to do with this is y'all had so much of your life to be trained in this method of memorize, regurgitate, learn tricks, make use of the tricks, right? You've had that your entire life. And so you've gone through an immense amount of instruction. What you need at this point is some facts and some opinions and some ideas that make you want to critically engage education, that make you want to critically engage ways to lead you out of the situation that you found yourself in. So I want to make it really clear to y'all and to anyone who'll hear this recording later. I'm very laid back and open about helping y'all get the best grade possible, so long as you're showing me that you're really trying to, like, basically what I say, hack your education, get more out of this than just, pass the test, get the credit, get the degree, get a job. Okay? Because let me tell you something. I don't give a rat's ass what anybody's told you heretofore. Memorizing stuff, regurgitating it, getting the grade, getting the credits, getting the degree does not get you a job. That's actually not what college is for. I don't know why we've doubled down on trying to teach y'all that going to school is about getting a job, but actually going to school is about getting the skills to critically think for yourself so that you can be best placed for any opportunity that arises for you. Right? But we've kind of turned college into an advanced vocational school. And the people who are in charge of school right now, including people like me that are teaching you, people are in charge of school right now. They lived at a time where going to college, getting a degree generally ended up meaning you're going to get a job and you're going to do this thing that you trained for. That was like 2 generations of Americans were able to do that. That's not where we're at now. Millennials, late millennials, and Gen Z, which is mostly y'all, this is still a wonderful opportunity to broaden your mind and broaden your abilities and really learn how to engage the world on your own terms. But you've got to understand that it doesn't necessarily lead to a job. So if you're not actually here just to get a job, then what are you actually here to do? And that's kind of what we're going to think about over the course of the semester. Okay. Why should we at some point leave behind just being instructed and actually begin a process of education where we struggle to become critical and imaginative and capable of, in a sense, taking control of our opportunities and circumstances, right? Okay. So off of that one, philosophy is the willingness to be uncertain and the will to ask questions. I think that you taking a philosophy course is really wonderful, not just because I get paid to teach you, right? Actually, what I say to people a lot of times is my vocation is to philosophize, to mind walk with people, and to get people to think critically and imaginatively. My profession is basically to be a kind of bureaucrat that passes along certain information. But I try to kind of go back and forth between those two things, right? Philosophy gets you to a point where you can deal with uncertainty and not freak out because you suddenly are panicked by insecurity, right? So one of the things that we want to do is we want to actually note the difference between being uncertain and being insecure. Okay. It's a big difference between being uncertain and being insecure. We have a fetishism for security in our culture. Okay. We have a really huge fetishism for security. Well, security means no worries, no cares. And obviously most human beings try to live their life in such a way that they minimize care and worries and fretting and all the rest of that totally makes sense. But there's a way where you can so double, triple, and quadruple down on wanting to be secure that you begin to actually live in a way that that's basically living out of a fear of insecurity rather than a desire for security, right? And so then whenever something's uncertain, it automatically gets read as insecurity, right? And once it gets read as being insecure, and we have developed this really wide-ranging fear of insecurity in our culture, once the uncertainty gets read as insecurity, instead of wanting to be uncertain, Americans are willing to especially Americans are willing to just really double down on getting certainty at any cost. And that can be a scientific certainty. It can be a religious certainty. It can even be an artistic certainty. We just grab a hold of whatever certainty makes us feel less insecure. But when we do that, we often are very uncritical. So the whole point of philosophizing is to develop the ability to be uncertain and not panic into insecurity out of that. And the way that and then where that leads to is it allows you to ask the kinds of questions that will let you discover whether or not the thing that's making you uncertain is a problem that you can solve, or a problem that a group of us can solve, or just something human beings are going to have to deal with, right? So in a sense, if you're uncertain about what you want to do with your life, in other words, when we bring you into college, a lot of times what we do is we automatically begin making you try to pick a career path, right? So if we're making you pick a career path, right? We're basically saying in order to not be insecure 2 decades down the line, you need to pick a career path now. In all reality, it's mostly, if you're young, especially somewhere between 18 and 25, your future is really uncertain. It's not necessarily insecure, but it's fairly uncertain. And the fact that you choose to be a biology major or a business major or a psychology major when you're 18 or 19 years old, that doesn't hide the uncertainty of your future. That doesn't take away the uncertainty of your future. It just sort of hides the panic of insecurity that you're being kind of pressed by people that are older than you and more established than you to believe that if you don't know what you're going to do and where you're going to go right this minute, then you have no future, or your future is completely in danger, right? So philosophizing, especially I think during the time of this pandemic and during the time of this particular election cycle and during the time of Black Lives Matter and during the time of Trans Lives Matter and all these other sorts of things, that philosophy is a good practice to develop, so that when everybody else is freaking out on their insecurities about the safety of society or the safety of the American dream or the security of retirement or any of those kind of things, when everybody's doing that, you can calmly allow the facts to come in and make decisions for yourself that are not driven by fear. Okay. So any questions or comments right now? And Nicholas, I saw your text message, and I'll send you. Why don't you email me about that, and then we'll get it figured out after the deal. Does anybody have any questions about where we're at now?
Is this syllabus or ICR on Blackboard?
I'm going to move it over to Blackboard. I never really thought about the fact that in the old days when I was teaching face-to-face, everybody would always, I think their counselors or whoever always made sure they got the syllabus. And so I'm going to move it over to and make sure there's a link for it. Let me just say with that one, Lucy, these course requirements, okay? So everything that you do on MindTap will count for 50% of your activities and quizzes, okay? So it's a fairly large portion of what you're doing. Then there are going to be 7 group discussions on Blackboard and 7 critical essays on Blackboard. So some weeks we'll do a group discussion, some weeks we'll just have, some chapters we'll do a group discussion, some chapters we'll do an essay. And then finally, there's a final exam project, which will be pretty straightforward and simple for everybody, I think. The MindTap activities also, if something happens, again, I want to highlight that. If something happens and you feel like it didn't record your grade correctly or you messed up or whatever, I will be happy to go in and reboot it. Re-up it so that you can do it, clear it so you can do it again. But also, if you're running late, okay, you usually have up to 3 days to do assignments on MindTap. You'll have an extra 3 days to do assignments on MindTap if you're running behind, and it'll take off a smidgen of your grade, like 5% or something like that. So, don't freak out if you forget about something or you miss something. You can still turn it in and do it and turn it in within 3 days of the due date, and it'll just take off a little bit of the material. I'm looking at my face. I should move this actually maybe over here, because I keep turning and looking at my face instead of looking at the camera. It's rude. Okay, so does anybody have any questions outside of like technical issues with MindTap? Do you have any kind of questions about strategies or anything like that involving using MindTap? Okay. The group discussions, everybody's going to be broken up into about, I'm going to break all the classes up into about 3 or 4 discussion groups. And the way the discussions work is you'll have a discussion prompt. You'll have to have your discussion uploaded. You have to answer the discussion prompt and upload your thread by the Monday, the second Monday of a chapter. And then by the second Tuesday is when you'll reply to at least one of your colleagues. And all of this will be more spelled out inside Blackboard. All of this will be spelled out every time, actually, every assignment. It's like, your original post responding to this prompt is due on this date, and your response to somebody else's original post is due on this day, right? So there'll be 2 due dates. The first for your original post and the second for your response to somebody else. Okay. Questions about that? Basics here, of course, are respect each other's opinions, respect each other as human beings, no racism, no misogyny, no homophobia, no transphobia, no xenophobia, no blah, blah, blah. Okay. We just want to be open and welcoming to each other and actually try to listen and learn from each other. It needs to be a safe space. People can put forward ideas that you may not fully agree on, but we do need to be very careful here about notions that run on the edge of racism, misogyny, homophobia, and all these sorts of hate speech and things like that. So we want to be very thoughtful about the things that we say to ourselves and about the things that the things we say for ourselves and then the things that we say to other people. But I think everybody's pretty much learned how to do that between high school and the first part of college. Your critical essays will be, I'll give you a prompt. Like I said, every other chapter, it's not going to be, I'll give you a prompt and the essay will be due usually, I think, on Friday nights or Saturday nights, and the date will be there. The minimum required amount of writing will be in the prompt, the minimum, the kind of format you're supposed to use, which is usually MLA for TCC, that kind of stuff. Okay. And then finally, the final exam project is actually going to be a kind of philosophical self-reflection on who you are, in which you'll write a philosophical autobiography of yourself. And there'll be some questions that you'll answer, and you'll make use of the stuff that we've read and we've worked on over the semester in order to do this philosophical self-reflection. And that'll be turned in on Blackboard, and it counts for 10% of your grade. And it'll be the same kind of thing, a minimum amount of writing, MLA format if you quote or paraphrase anybody, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. Let me see here. So if you actually look at the daily assignments, what you find is, it says daily assignments, but it's really more weekly assignments. It's got dates on here that you need to be done with things by, or, to get ready for what you're doing. So this week, what we were doing is just familiarizing ourselves with MindTap and with Blackboard. And you're getting your activities and applications. And I extended the due dates, I think, on these a little bit, but just, be sure you paid attention this week to this first stuff: introduction to using Apply assignments and how to use Questia. Okay, just that's what we're doing this week, getting used to using MindTap. Next week, right, by Tuesday of next week, you should have looked at the learning objectives and you should have done an activator video. Okay, by then. You might do them before then because they are already open. I will put out my first weekly video that's just, going over the learning objectives for chapter 1 on Monday morning. And then the next Monday, which would be Monday, September 7th, I will put out another video, which will just be welcoming you to go through and look at the group discussion for the week and the writing assignment for the week and familiarize yourself with it and remind you about doing the quiz. Okay. I think once we actually get into it, it'll get a lot better for all of us. You know, it's just a question of getting used to it. But what you can look for every Monday morning around 8 a.m., I'll have a introduction video for the week. And I'll either go over the learning objectives for the chapter, or if it's the second week of a chapter, I'll go over the discussion assignment and the written assignment, the writing essay assignment. Okay. What else do I need to sort of pass along to y'all at the moment? Really, I think that's about all I have to pass along to y'all today. I just wanted y'all to actually see me, since, you know, my students nicknamed me Maggie after I got my master's degree. So it's not you know, you're not dead naming if you accidentally call me Keith or something, but I prefer to be called Maggie or Professor Maggie and not Professor Brown or Keith, okay? But now you see me, I'm just this old man, snaggly teeth and a snaggly beard. I'm really looking forward to getting to know some of y'all. Some people are obviously a lot more forward in interacting and everything, but I'm looking forward to working with y'all. And I hope that, you know, you will not hesitate to reach out to me to ask me about issues that you might be having with understanding the material. Okay. And then, like I said, I'm very happy if we need to, I'm very happy to have a phone call or a FaceTime or a Zoom call with you to talk about stuff if you're having a problem with it. Otherwise, look for my weekly message video on Mondays at 8 a.m. And I will schedule meetings like this once a week where I will either do lectures or I'll do some sort of, you know, update on what you're talking about, what all we're focusing on at the moment. I'll also upload some lectures and some PowerPoints throughout the week, right? These things are for your benefit. They're not required. Whenever I do lectures, I hope that you'll listen to my lectures, but if you don't listen to my lectures, if all you do is go over the PowerPoints that I'll also put up, that's totally okay with me too. What I want to do here is just give you enough material and enough encouragement to become critical thinkers, right? And playful thinkers, that you'll hack your education and sort of break out of the rut of constantly being instructed but never being offered the opportunity to lead yourself out of the opinions and the narratives that you've sort of had foisted on you your whole life. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. And if you have friends that are in the class that didn't get to be here, to, you know, remind them that there'll be the recording will be uploaded for everyone's benefit. Okay. Any questions before I sign off?
Is that a dinosaur shirt?
It is a gecko.
It's a gecko?
Yeah. No, wait. Is it geckos? No, it's iguanas. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate your wonderful taste, Megan.
Of course.
Is it Megan or McGann?
It's actually pronounced Megan, but I go by May because
May?
everyone
Okay.
else says.
Cool. Awesome. Any other questions? Yoda's here too. He's willing to answer anything more profound than I can. No?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to stop the recording and let y'all go, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. Nicholas Brooks, don't forget to email me this thing, and then we'll figure out what's going on, okay? All right. Tranquility and joyfulness, my beautiful flowers. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.